What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I am finally here with my full card predictions for the generational pay-per-view happening this weekend. You know, they're bringing out all the big guns. They got Yuri Prohaska versus Carlos Solberg in the main event. They've got Bedtime MMA on the countdown. We've got Azat Murzakanov. We've got Curtis Blaydes, friend of the channel. We've got Paulo Costa, Dominic Reyes, Johnny Walker, Cub Swanson, Esteban Ribovics, man, Kevin Holland, Patricio Pitbull, Aaron Pico. This might be the first ever card in Bedtime MMA history where I actually don't feel good saying, and the rest are nobodies. All right, man, this is a great card. Let's get into this. Starting off on the early prelims, the first fight of the night is going to be Charles Radtke versus Francisco Prado. I'm going to be going with Charles Radtke to get this one done by decision. I feel like Radtke only really loses to quick, powerful, like big 170ers. Carlos Prates, Mike Malott, the past two guys to beat him. Otherwise, he's actually KO'd a lot of guys in the UFC. And I think that in this matchup, he'll be a little bit too big and long pause for Francisco Prado, who, you know, honestly, look at the reach disadvantage between them. Even though Prado is like a little bit taller, he's kind of this stocky little 155 blockhead. And I think that Radtke will be able to keep him on the outside of his jab. You know, Prado does box quite well in the pocket, but against 170 pounders, he doesn't really show the same power that he did at 155. And Radtke trains with a really good team, Valley Flow Striking. He's out there with Yair Rodriguez. Bro. He's out here with the GOAT, Bilal Muhammad, you know, Prado, this guy sucks. You know, he's literally a Minecraft character, bro. He's a bum. So he's training with the GOAT, Bilal Muhammad. He's training with the GOAT, Brendan Allen. I think that he's going to be, you know, at a little bit of a power advantage, a reach advantage. And I think that he's going to be able to use calf kicks, keep the jab going, and avoid getting in the pocket with Prado. And if they do get in the pocket, I do think that Prado will probably eat that left hook that Radtke lands really well. I'm going to go with Charles Radtke to win this one by decision. All right, man. Next fight of the night. Oh my God, man. This is like if they matched up Paul George on the 76ers before he got good again, and fucking Kevin Garnett on the Nets. This is actually a crazy fucking onk matchup. I'm going to go with Kelvin Gastelum, though, bro. Like, the downfall of these dudes is genuinely insane, but I am going to pick Kelvin Gastelum. I feel like he's the bigger guy. I know he's the bigger guy. He's the way bigger guy. But he also does have a really good chin, all jokes aside. Very good chin, fast hands. Even though he's a blob, he's pretty quick and light on his feet. He's a good grappler. He can scramble very well. And I just feel like even if Vicente Luque is doing good, like Luque obviously has a big reach advantage. He's a better striker technically. I feel like Luque will be doing good with calf kicks and head kicks and, you know, popping his jab. I just know that KG will find the straight left down the middle, find the 1-2 because he's super fast with it, but also because Luque has literally zero head movement. We've seen the GOAT Vicente Luque get tagged up by Brian Barberina and a bunch of other guys, and he toughed it out. But we've seen the chin kind of deteriorate for Luque since the Jeff Neal fight. And I just don't like how he looked in his last couple of fights. I feel like Kelvin Gastelum's going to be quicker. I feel like he's going to hit a little bit harder. He definitely has a better chin. So if they get in an exchange, I'm going to be a lot more worried for Vicente Luque. And I know Luque has good jiu-jitsu, but he's not necessarily the type of fighter that I could see knocking down KG or taking down KG the way that a Joe Pyfer could, or somebody, you know, Robert Whittaker could wrestle him and take him down a little bit, you know. That's usually Kelvin Gastelum's game, is mixing in the wrestling. So I feel like he can keep this standing and avoid that DAS or that anaconda if you rush trying to wrestle Luque. And I just feel like Gastelum, one thing I'll say for him as well, if you look on Instagram, he's actually in shape and he's actually moved camps. He's gone away from Henry Cejudo. He's gone away from the taco trucks in Arizona. He's away from the tortas. He's locked the fuck in. So I think we get a more skinny, focused KG, being a little bit too fast, too powerful for Luque. Maybe rocking him a couple of times on the feet, mixing in some takedowns smartly once Luque gets rocked, controlling him from top position, winning a decision. I could see Luque winning a round. I think this is going to be like a 29-28, maybe 130-27 for Gastelum. You know, maybe Luque throws up a sub in a scramble and wins a round, or he lands some calf kicks, some straight punches. He's a little bit, you know, longer than Gastelum, and KG has to kind of work his way in and find those punches. But all in all, I think KG is going to be quicker on the feet, better chin, can mix up the wrestling if he needs to. Luque can't really do the same if he's getting outstruck. And Kelvin Gastelum is way more durable than Vicente Luque. So I'm going to pick him to win this fight. And he's the bigger guy. So I'm going to pick Luque to lose that fight. I'm going to pick KG. All right, man. Headlining the early prelims. This is a fucking banger. This is such an underrated fight on this card that even when I was going through Tapology, going through UFC, making my predictions for this, I kind of overlooked this. But then when I watched the tape, I started to get excited for this. We got Chris Padilla versus Markel Mederos. And I'm going to put some respect on Markel Mederos' name, dude. He actually looked really good in his last fight against Mark Chowinski. And I just know Rogan is going to be going absolutely fucking insane during this fight. Both these guys love to chop the calf. Both of these guys move around on the outside really well, switch stances, land those kicks, you know, can scramble, get back up to their feet. They mix in the clinch. I'm going to go with Chris Padilla to win this one by decision. I think he's a little bit more experienced, a little bit higher IQ, and just a little bit more crafty. I feel like he can mix things up with the clinch. Maybe some takedowns, but he can mix in those elbows and knees in close, utilize that clinch, and slow down some of the speed and the movement of Markel Mederos. Because a big weapon that Mederos uses in all of his fights to get going, which is those calf kicks, as I said, won't really be there with Padilla because Padilla is a very Thai style fighter, really light on that front foot, able to check those kicks pretty easily. So I can see Padilla checking a lot of those kicks, popping the jab, getting a hold of Mederos, mixing in some elbows, knees to the body. You know, as Mederos tries to, you know, move around on the outside and then come in with combos, Padilla just throws up elbows, mixes him up in the clinch. And I also think that while Marco Mederos, like, he does have good defensive grappling, he got taken down by Mark Chowinski a couple of times, got his back taken, but avoided the submissions. He is there to be kind of held against the fence, controlled against the fence, taken down really quickly, and then get back up. And I think Chris Padilla is a little bit more well-rounded because he's more experienced, because he's a bit older, and a little bit more crafty. I think Chris Padilla is going to fight behind his jab. I think he's going to check a lot of Markel Mederos' kicks and not let him get going with those early. I think if they clinch, Chris Padilla is going to have a big advantage there because of his style, and I do think he's going to win this fight by decision. I can see him landing a big elbow that causes a cut, maybe changing the course of the fight, but it should be like a 29-28 for Chris Padilla in my opinion. Both these guys are fucking sick though. They're sick, dude. All right, man, let's move on. Next fight on the prelims, we've got Tatiana Suarez, former fucking title challenger. See you on the prelims, kid. Versus Luque Godinez. Now, I did a lot of research for this card, but if you think I'm going to sit here and give a 20-minute breakdown of fucking Tatiana Suarez versus Luque Godinez, you got another thing coming, brother. All right, I'm picking Tatiana Suarez by decision. I'm going to ignore the fact that her main training partner is fucking Patchy Mix, okay? She has a big grappling and size advantage in this fight. She's learned a lot of lessons from the Zhang Weili fight. That's the only one she lost. There's no shame in losing to Zhang Weili at women's strawweight. And other than that, she just takes people down and blobs them. And we've seen Godinez kind of struggle to impose her forward pressure and her grappling on people like Mackenzie Dern and Vina Jandiroba. And I would put Suarez right up there with those two. I think Suarez beats both of those two. So I'm going to put Tatiana Suarez by decision here, 30-27. I'm not going to overthink this. I think it's like a more competitive version of the Tabitha Ricci, Vina Jandiroba type thing. I think Suarez will just be able to take her down, hold her down, win a boring decision, and probably get a title shot. Let's be fucking real, dude, all right? Moving on. This is one I'm excited to talk about. We've got Mateos Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovics. Now, I love Esteban Ribovics, dude. I've been glazing this dude for a while. I've been bringing up these bangers that he's been having in the Apex. I love the style that he brings, okay? But in my opinion, this is too much too soon. I think Gamrot wins this fight by decision. I love Ribovics' style. He brings forward pressure, high volume combinations, rips to the body, and then he'll find a big shot up top. And he pushes people back with straight punches really well. And it can set up that head kick that we saw in Terrence McKinney when he Golden Freddy'd him. And he was trying to do it a couple times against Elvis Brenner as well. But in my opinion, Mateos Gamrot is one of the most underrated dudes in the entire UFC. Not just in the grappling, not just the wrestling that he brings, and we'll talk about that, but even on the feet. I think he wins this fight, and I honestly don't even think he necessarily needs to get like 10 minutes of control time to win this. I think he can actually box decently well on the back foot, and I think he'll mix in the wrestling, and that will slow down the forward pressure of Esteban Ribovics. He's extremely hard to scramble with. I mean, Ribovics did a good job against Elvis Brenner, who fought kind of similarly to Gamrot early on, heavy takedown attempts, ended up on bottom, scrambled up from that single leg. Esteban Ribovics did a good job scrambling with him, and I felt like Elvis Brenner gave up on that after that happened, but Mateusz Gamrot is not going to give up, dude. He is a cockroach maxer of the highest order when it comes to the grappling, and Ribovics pressures very well on the front foot, and I do think he'll land big shots and he'll push Gamrot back, and if he gets him up against the cage, he'll land big shots, and I'm sure at some point he will drop Gamrot. But one thing about Ribovics, he doesn't really pressure with feints. He doesn't pop a little jab and step forward. He kind of just moves in, moving his head, and he leaves himself open to be picked at range with kicks, jabs, straight punches. And I can honestly see Gamrot utilizing the fucking ATT special, bro. Calf kicks, jabs, landing the right hand. I honestly think he'll do better on the feet than most people expect, and then mix in takedown attempts wherever he can to, you know, waste some clock or avoid a big shot from Ribovics or just to slow him down. Even just changing levels and coming back up top with punches, I think he'll slow some of the momentum and the combination punching of Esteban Ribovics. Ribovics will, like I said, he'll have success when he backs up Gamrot to the fence, and when he lets go with combinations. We've seen Gamrot struggle under kind of heavy pressure from Dan Hooker and Charles Oliveira. These guys backed him up and let their hands go, and he kind of crumbled a little bit. But those guys are bigger and stronger and just more dangerous than Esteban Ribovics, in my opinion. Especially Charles Oliveira with the grappling, but also he hits really hard. Dan Hooker's a lot more physically imposing. He's a bigger, longer guy. Than Esteban Ribovics. He's got that front kick to the body. He's got the guillotine. So I think in this fight, Gamrot will get pushed back. He'll get clipped once or twice, maybe get knocked down for a second, but otherwise, I think he'll fight really well on the back foot with his boxing, land some nice shots, avoid some return fire from Ribovics, circle off, mix in the takedowns, slow down the output of Esteban Ribovics, and win a classic 29-28 Gamrot decision that people think is a robbery because he got flash knocked down at one point. I'm going with Gamrot by 29-28 masterclass decision. All right, dude? Let's move on, bro. We got Kevin fucking Holland versus Randy Brown. This is kind of a mirror matchup, honestly. When I was watching these guys fight, I was like, God damn, these dudes fight so similarly, man. They really are very similar. Physically, the length, fighting behind the jab, letting the hands go, slapping, you know, little flicky calf kicks here and there. Then they'll put a big right hand on you. This is a really tough one to predict. This is a very low confidence pick, but I think I'm going to pick Kevin Holland. I feel bad either way picking this fight. That's another thing these guys have in common. When I'm certain Randy Brown is going to do good, he gets fucking chinned. When I'm certain Kevin Holland's going to do good, he gets smudged. You know what I mean? So I think this will be primarily striking. And I think that Kevin Holland I know Kevin Holland has a better chin than Randy Brown. And I think Kevin Holland can reach him. I'm worried, okay? I'm worried. I was going to pick Randy Brown, but Brown is very chinny. He does fight really well behind long jabs and those flicky little calf kicks, like I said. But Holland is not a short little welterweight. He's as big as Randy Brown, except probably a little bit thicker, considering he's fought at 185. He's more durable than Randy Brown. I would say he hits harder. Like, he has more of a flash knockdown ability, land that right hand, put you on Dream Street. Randy Brown's chin has always been sus. And listen, even though we've seen Kevin Holland get punished recently for being kind of sloppy on the feet, especially defensively, he'll just pull back into the cage if you throw a combo at him. I just have oh my God, I can't pick either of these guys. Because I have a hard time trusting Holland. Like, I think that Holland will get boxed up, but that he'll find Randy Brown's chin, and Randy Brown will just do the jelly leg dance that he always does and get finished. And I could see him falling into a sub or just getting rocked really badly and finished. Because that Bonfim knockout was pretty bad. Before that, he got dropped by Nicholas Dalby a couple of times and then found that knockdown in the moment. But I can't trust Kevin Holland that much either, because his last few fights, it seems like he doesn't really care about winning. But I also just feel like he will chin Randy Brown. So I'm not super confident, but I'll lean towards Kevin Holland. Randy loves to throw extended combinations. He can't help but continue in exchange for as long as he can. And that does lead to moments where people find him, especially when he's like circling out and still throwing his jab and keeping his lead hand out there. People can find him, and I can just see Holland catching the top of his head, landing an uppercut, boom, he rocks him bad. Leaping into that big fucking right hand as he's circling off, rocking Randy Brown, finding a finish, and then we think he's back. I don't know. It's a low confidence pick, but I'm going to go with Kevin Holland by round 2 finish. I think he catches Randy Brown circling after Randy Brown's kind of piecing him up. Randy Brown keeps that jab out there too long. Boom, right hand gets rocked. And Holland jumps on a sub, finishes him, or just follows up with ground and pound, puts Randy Brown out. I'm going to pick Kevin Holland, not super confidently. Okay, dude? Main event of the prelims, we've got Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. Okay? And if you watch the bingo card predictions, which you should check out if you haven't already, because we are the best predictors on YouTube. I stumbled into a theory, and you know what? I think I'm actually going to lean into it. I'm going to pick Patricio Pitbull. I think I was onto something in that bingo card video, because why the fuck is Aaron Pico actually a massive favorite in this fight? Is he really as good as Yair Rodriguez or better? Is he really? Is he closer to Yair Rodriguez than he is to Dan Ige? Is he actually? I don't think so. What has Aaron Pico actually done in his fucking career? These guys both got top 5 caliber opponents in their debut, except Pitbull did not get fucking brutally slimed out. He got some takedowns. He got some control. He didn't get knocked out. He got knocked down in the 3rd round, but otherwise, he was okay, but he just couldn't get inside the kicks of Yair Rodriguez, who is elite, who is a top 5 level featherweight. Like, I have my problems with Yair Rodriguez, but he's been a proven top 5 kind of featherweight. He doesn't have that many good wins either, but we know how skillful he is. He's had close fights with Volk and Max and, Brian Ortega. You know what I mean? Like Yair Rodriguez is good. He's fucking good. And he's dangerous as fuck. Right? I would honestly be less surprised if it was the other way around, where Pico had got decision by Murphy and Pitbull got slimed by Yair Rodriguez, but that's not what happened. Aaron Pico got fucking slimed by Leon Murphy inside 2 minutes. Pitbull was higher level in Bellator. He has a ranked win in the UFC over Dan Ige, where honestly, he avoided every big shot of Dan Ige. He did a good job of blocking, rolling with a lot of those shots, mixed in takedowns very effectively, landed clean counter shots, and he did enough to win. And I honestly think he could do the same here. Pico is so wild. He cannot settle into a fight. He just bulldozes you. And you either crumble because you're a fat PFL fucking random, or you fucking chin him out cold if you're an athletic PFL random. He's super explosive. I like the body shots because Pitbull actually did a great job of high guarding and blocking a lot of shots from Yair and Dan Ige, but he does leave the body open with that. And, Patricio Pitbull did a good job avoiding the big swinging punches to the head against Dan Ige, and I think he'll do a similar job here against Aaron Pico, because I do think Aaron Pico will spaz out early on. I could see him just running over Pitbull, taking him down, winging big punches. But if he takes down Pitbull's a really good grappler. I think he'll show he can get back up. He won't get subbed by Aaron Pico. I'm pretty confident in that. And I think he'll take an opening when Pico 110%, like, tell me you genuinely think Pico will take down Pitbull and just lay on top of him. He will open up and try and land big bombs. Pitbull will be out of there. I honestly think Pitbull's going to win this fight by decision. I think he'll be a lot more calm and composed. I think he'll block or avoid a lot of Pico's big punches on the feet. I think he'll just land jabs. He'll land straight shots inside. He'll start to choose calf kicks. He'll mix in some takedown attempts. He doesn't even necessarily need to get them. I can see him getting to the back body lock and just slowing down Pico a little bit, making him fight long. And I think Pitbull's going to win a crafty decision here. Maybe he colds Pico, since that's usually how he loses, but I can see Pitbull just fighting pretty smart and tactical. He's been pretty low output in the UFC, so I'm going to say Pitbull is a little bit more composed on the feet. He can mix in the grappling. He's not going to get ragdolled in the wrestling. I think he will be able to get back up and throw up submission attempts, scramble back up to his feet. He's going to be very short and compact. I don't think Pico's going to lock up a random sub on him. I think it is KO or bust for Pico. I actually think that he is kind of still overrated. I know that he has all these physical gifts and these crazy background and stuff like that, but look at his resume and look at Pitbull's resume. I think Pitbull actually is more proven. So I'm going to pick Patricio Pitbull by crafty decision. So my picks for the prelims, we've got Pitbull, we've got Holland, we've got Gamrot, we've got Suarez. I picked A on the exam 5 times. We've got Padilla. Oh my fucking God. We've got Gastelum and we got Radtke. I don't like that I picked all the red corner fighters, but it is what it is, dude. I'm feeling it, dude. I think Randy Brown has a good chance of beating Kevin Holland. Obviously, I could see Pico winning, but I'm gonna pick Pitbull. All right, dude. Let's move on to the main card. First fight on the main card. I love this fight, dude. Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. This is actually such a sick matchup that deserves to open up a pay-per-view like this. I think this is a pretty fair matchup for Cub Swanson as well. This is his retirement. And I love the knockout that he got against Billy Quarantillo, but I'm going to go with Nate Landwehr. I think he's going to cockroach Max his way to a W here. I see this being a war. I feel like this is going to be a bloody war, back and forth. Swanson starts out a little bit quicker and sharper on the feet. One thing about Cub Swanson, he's going to get that straight right off, bro. Cub Swanson has like 3 moves, dude. He's going to throw that straight right, blitz in, then he's going to roll and dip under, whip up a left side head kick. He's going to go like 3-2, just a straight up 2, or a 2 and a head kick on the other side. This is what he does. This is Cub Swanson heritage, mate. But as he moves and as he starts to, you know, slip and rip and fight like he used to, we've seen that because he's a little bit older, he will slow down a little bit as the fight goes on. He does get clipped in those exchanges with his hands down. He does get pushed back. And I think that early on, Swanson will do well. I could see him definitely rocking Nate Landwehr or knocking him down with that straight right, because Nate Landwehr, one thing about this guy, he is going to get chinned in the first round at some point. But I see Swanson kind of slowing down, Nate Landwehr coming back, pouring on the pressure, capitalizing on those exchanges where Swanson kind of runs into him and they tie up. I can see Nate Landwehr landing knees up the middle, pushing Swanson back to the cage, landing combinations, mixing in takedowns, and I think he's going to find a TKO in late round 2 or early round 3. Starts out bad, gets clipped with that right hand. They're trading and brawling. They're both landing big shots. Nate Landwehr has the cardio and the wrestling advantage. Pushes back Cub Swanson, lands some big shots, lets his hands go against the cage, mixes in takedowns, finds a TKO in the late 2nd or early 3rd round. I think it's going to be a banger, though. I just hope Cub Swanson gets a real retirement video, bro. Because like I said in my bingo card video, if we're giving out a fucking 20-minute promo to Anthony Smith and Michael Chiesa, and we're getting Jelly Roll and all these guys to come in, thank you, Anthony, for everything you've done. Then Cub Swanson, a real fucking legend of the game, like a real former, you know, top guy at featherweight for so long, for all the best guys in the UFC. He deserves that type of send-off and more. So, yeah, shout out Cub Swanson, but I'm going to pick Nate Landwehr, man. Let's move on. We've got I'm Dominic Reyes. We got Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker, dude. Okay, I mean, either way, someone's getting flatlined in the first round. Let's be real. This is a genuine cold or get colded matchup. Someone is getting golden Freddied, and I'm going to pick Dominic Reyes to win. I think he's a little bit more sharp. He's a little bit more technical in his striking. He's less likely to do something dumb in an exchange or make a weird defensive move and randomly get chinned, even though both of them have been chinned a couple times, and that's why I think this is going to be over very quick. Walker is tall. He's long for the division. He's very aggressive. He fights behind calf kicks really well, and he loves to kick and then punch right after. In between, you know, the jumping around, the goofy shit, all this stuff. He also likes to tie up in the clinch, but I think he's a little bit careless, and I think he gets overly aggressive and just backs out randomly. And I can see him I can just see him playing into the game of Dominic Reyes, which is counter-punching, being on the back foot, pulling you into a big shot, whether he steps back as Walker comes in, lands that fucking jab and wobbles him, or lands that straight left and chins him. Even on the break of exchanges from like clinching or whatever it is, Walker does get caught a lot and moves his head in really weird ways. I could see Reyes just throwing up a left hand or a little uppercut or a fucking, you know, head kick on the break. He's very accurate with not much wind up, and he finds a way to hurt people in these moments. So I think he'll find the KO in the first round. Even if Walker, I can see random little, like even if Walker throws a big head kick and slips and lands on his ass, and Reyes just goes in the guard and lands like 2 hammer fists, I could just see him randomly putting out Johnny Walker with hammer fists. So I'm going to pick Dominic Reyes by KO in the first round. I think it's chin or be chin for both of these guys. I'm going to lean towards Reyes. All right, man. Featured fight of the night. We will be beating Josh Hokit. We will be gatekeeping the top 5. We are Curtis Blaydes. I'm picking Curtis Blaydes, brother. Don't matter, man. Josh Hokit. Josh Gad. Who's another Josh, dude? Josh Giddey. Don't matter. Blaydes in 3. That's all I gotta fucking say, baby. We are picking Curtis Blaydes to win this fight. Josh Hokit's really good, man. I think he's a good prospect. He's really athletic. He's got good pressure. He chains together takedowns and controls people from that back body lock. Really reminds me of Colby Covington, the way that he fights. It's not just the gimmick and the persona. He does really just spam takedowns, force you to be on your hands and knees. He's got that back body lock, kneeing the thigh, punches around the guard, you know, breaking you down until you get tired, and then he finds a finish, whether it's a submission or he paws on the ground and pound. And he also lets his hands go really well when he has someone backed up to the fence. He can hurt you with that right hand against the cage. That's a big weapon that he has. We've seen that in both of his UFC fights. But Curtis Blaydes, to me, is a huge jump up in competition, man. This dude has only lost to championship caliber KO artists. Sergey Pavlovich fought for the interim belt, was a favorite against Tom Aspinall, was the #1 contender at the time. Tom Aspinall, current heavyweight champion, beats everybody else in the division exactly the same. Francis Ngannou, former heavyweight champion, you know what I'm saying? Derek Lewis fought for the belt 2 times, yeah, interim and undisputed. King of fluking, people. Let's be fucking real here. And other than that, nobody's beating Curtis fucking Blaydes, especially if you're a wrestler, dude. I'm sorry. But Curtis Blaydes has beat everybody else in this division. He can strike. He can wrestle. He's not going to slow down in a 3-round fight. He has a big reach advantage here. He has the striking advantage. He's quick and athletic on the feet as well, especially now that his injuries are sorted out. And I can just see him outstriking Hokit with the calf kick, landing his jab, moving around on the outside. And if Hokit rushes Curtis Blaydes, Blaydes will hurt him with the straight right, dude. Blaydes has a nasty straight right down the middle. I think he'll put calf kicks on the end of them. He'll be popping his jab. He's light on his feet, especially, like I said, now that the injuries are cleared up. I think he'll do a good job defending takedowns. And I think at some point he will KO Josh Hokit. Maybe he wins a decision similar to it's not Walt Harris, the other fat black guy that he fought that was like super athletic. The other guy, the big ticket. Not Walt Harris. It was somebody. Oh my God. Justin Willis, big pretty. Big pretty, big titty, learn to wrestle, go home. That's what I think Curtis Blaydes is going to do here. Straight right down the middle. I think he's going to stuff the takedowns. I think he'll mix in, you know, ground and pound and top control. He'll out-wrestle Hokit, end up on top. I'm picking Curtis Blaydes to win this fight pretty confidently. I think this is too much too soon for Josh Hokit. He's a good athletic wrestler, decent striking. There's a lot of things we don't know about him. I don't think he'll be able to hold down Curtis Blaydes for 3 rounds or tire out Curtis Blaydes or, you know, outstrike him. I think Blaydes will be long, land the calf kick, stuff the takedowns, land ground and pound, tire him out, and I think he finds a TKO finish or a dominant decision win. Give me Curtis Blaydes, bro. All right, man. Next fight of the night, we've got Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa in the co-main event. All right, dude. Really good fight here. I'm going to go with Murzakanov. But I do think this is going to be an entertaining, close, back and forth fight. I see this being quite entertaining. I think that Murzakanov does have an advantage in the power and the boxing and the accuracy of his striking. Obviously, you know, both of these guys kind of like to box on the inside, but Azamat Murzakanov's just a little bit quicker and a little bit more accurate. And I think this will mainly be a striking fight. Both these guys have great takedown defense and scrambling. And I think that it comes down to the southpaw versus orthodox battle. I mean, Paulo Costa's body kicks are a huge weapon and his inside leg kicks, and those will be there against a southpaw. He uses those really effectively. And I do think at 205, he'll fit in really well physically. But Murzakanov just got through Rakic so easily, dude. And Rakic is the ultimate 205. How the fuck is this guy at light heavyweight? He's massive. He's got nasty kicks. He can box decently well. And Murzakanov smoked him, dude. Murzakanov stuffed his takedowns, got on the inside of the kicks, bombed him with that jab. And Paulo does leave a lot of openings in the boxing for someone like Murzakanov, as Paulo just loves to kind of pull back from exchanges with his hands down. I can definitely see Azamat landing the overhand left. I can see him landing body shots with that left hand. I can see him landing his jab on the inside of Paulo, trying to kind of lean back and land that hook that he always does. But the reason I think this will be a back and forth fight is because Costa's chin is fucking crazy. We saw the war that he had with Vittoria at 205. He doesn't get rocked. He doesn't really get wobbled. So I think that Murzakanov will go through a bad round of kind of getting kicked at range, and then he'll start to find his way on the inside in the boxing, land the overhand left, land the jab on the inside, body shots, and I think he'll block or avoid a lot of Paulo's kicks, counter them with the step-in left hand as Paulo's on one leg. I'm going to go with Murzakanov by unanimous decision, 29-28. Both these guys have some big moments. Costa does his emoting and his smiling, but Azamat Murzakanov lands the bigger, better shots with the hands, and I think that's going to be the difference here. I'm going to go with Azamat by decision. All right, man. Main event of the evening. Let's go for that. Now, listen, you know, I have made 3 videos on this fight, you know. You guys know my thoughts on this, man. This is the final cry. This is the final hurrah. Because Yuri Prohaska will be winning the fucking light heavyweight belt back. I just feel like Carlos Ulberg does not have that stopping power of an Alex Pereira on the back foot. And Carlos Ulberg is really good. I don't want to take away anything from him. I'm not hating on him. I'm not a hater of Carlos Ulberg. I'm willing to put the Dominic Reyes KO in the past and just look at this matchup for what it is. Yuri Prohaska, younger, more experienced going championship rounds, more durable, better chin, insanely hard to finish, improved his defense and some of those defensive liabilities that we saw get exposed by Alex Pereira, and even early on by Uzdemir and Rakic. He went through those tests and he's made improvements. And Yuri Prohaska is going to be walking forward, attacking Carlos Ulberg's body, slipping and ripping, landing straight punches. He's okay to get hit. The leg kicks of Carlos Ulberg will be there. Yuri Prohaska is very rooted and ready to, blitz him with big combinations, switch stances, throw in combo, jump, do whatever he needs to do, tie up in the clinch. Carlos Ulberg will be doing good until he isn't. And that's really what this comes down to. I just feel like, yes, he does have some nice KOs on the back foot with that check hook. Obviously, he has the 1-2 as well. He has great timing. He's quick. He's athletic. But I think Yuri Prohaska will put that pressure on him, and Yuri Prohaska will find his moments and he'll start to find his rhythm. And once you see Yuri Prohaska jabbing and landing that jab and avoiding the big shots in return from Carlos Ulberg, flicking that front kick to the body, jumping in, getting a hold of the wrists, stepping his jab over the top, slipping, landing big shots, pushing Ulberg back, I think that is when it's going to be the beginning of the end for Carlos Ulberg. I just feel like Yuri Prohaska is the move here, dude. Ulberg, he's good on the back foot. And, obviously there is some comparisons to the Alex Pereira matchup because Ulberg's a big light heavyweight. He's got good leg kicks. He has that left hook. He's a little bit more defensive with it, whereas Alex Pereira can kind of push you back and land it, or he can step back and pull you into shots. But I feel like what it came down to for Yuri Prohaska against Alex Pereira was the defense, right? Like the winged C, I'm moving my head every time and I'm leaning into those kicks. We saw it kind of glimpsed for a second in that first fight, and then it came back to bite him in the second fight, whereas now that gap is kind of closed, And I think that, yes, he will be starting out finding his rhythm, but the way that Yuri Prohaska controls range and closes range and pushes people back, it looks sloppy and weird, but it's actually kind of effective, and he actually does a good job of avoiding and rolling with a lot of big shots. I can just see him grabbing Carlos Ulberg's wrists constantly, kind of frustrating him with that. Little flicking inside calf kicks, Ulberg switches stances, trying to be pretty, trying to be technical, whereas Yuri Prohaska is just walking him down, making his reads. I trust Yuri Prohaska to eat the big shots and, the counters of Carlos Ulberg, because Ulberg is going to be quite low output. He's going to be waiting for Yuri Prohaska to go. I definitely see him fighting on the back foot, feinting and countering and, waiting for that Yuri Prohaska leg kick, boom, boom, step in with a 1-2, avoid, switch stances, move around, look for that check hook. But I think that Yuri Prohaska will just disrespect his game once he finds his rhythm, once he finds his timing. He's shown that ability to roll with the shots. He pressures quite well. Not so much of a headhunter as he used to be. Like I've said in some other videos, I think the body shots will be a big factor for him here, especially when Ulberg goes southpaw. That front kick to the body will be there for Yuri Prohaska. And I think every time he ties up in the clinch, Yuri will cause damage and Carlos Ulberg will want to cause distance. That's what it seems like to me. Ulberg wants to fight at kickboxing range. He's a kickboxer. He has a big pedigree in that area. Every time they clinch, I can just see Ulberg ducking his head, pushing away. Maybe mixing in a body lock, trying to take down Yuri Prohaska a little bit. I just feel like Yuri Prohaska forces a fight out of people, and he's built for that. Over 5 rounds, he will start to wear down Ulberg, put him on the back foot, back him up to the cage. I think this is going to be a round 3 or 4 TKO for Yuri Prohaska. Maybe he rocks Ulberg bad. Ulberg tries to wrestle. Yuri Prohaska does have a nasty submission game, very sneaky with it. So I'm going to say Yuri Prohaska weathers an early storm, getting chopped with the calf kicks, getting kicked at range. The jab is there, the 1-2, he's slipping and ripping, starting to find his rhythm. Then he just turns on the autism mode, starts to walk down Ulberg, finds the finish late in the fight, and we get the Yuri Prohaska roar, and he's fucking talking, I'm gonna, yes, and now my mission, I have to find my kid, let's go for that. I think that's what we're going to be hearing from Yuri Prohaska at 327. These are my predictions for UFC 327. I can't wait for this card. Of course, you guys know I'm going to keep the videos coming throughout the week. I'm also going to be dropping an immediate recap video after this card is done. I also have a video coming out with Demetrius Johnson very soon. Stay tuned for that on his channel. We were talking about all these fights. I don't know when it's going to drop, but yeah, it was really cool to talk to Mighty Mouse again. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. It was a really good conversation. If you liked the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. And I just want to say while I'm here, thank you guys so much for all the support and blowing me up, man. And I saw you guys in all the comments on the countdown video that featured me in it. It's super cool to see that. We made it onto countdown. We did that. So thank you guys. You are the reason that the UFC knows of me and put me in that. And I can't thank you guys enough, man. Appreciate all you guys. Have a good one. Goodbye.